What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to Stocks by the Numbers. Happy Tuesday to everybody, and today we're diving into the marijuana sector as per request, and we're taking a look at one of the larger companies here, NASDAQ-listed company. We're going to start off first with, more of a brand name outlet here, and we're looking at Canopy Growth Corporation here today. Ticker symbol CGC, listed here on the NASDAQ. Stock down a little less than 2% here today, closing at $2.91. We come over here, we have a 52-week low of $2.13, 52-week high, almost $10 up there, $9.79. We have a market cap around $1.87 billion, Canadian dollars, whatever. But, let's see really what the numbers look like, and let's look at a little bit of, what the company's been through. Okay, they rang the bell at the NASDAQ market opening. That doesn't mean anything. Canada's Canopy Growth bets more on U.S. cannabis through TerraSend. Now, see, that is something that catches my attention here, right? You're kind of like hedging your bets, like you're a Canadian growth operation. It's legal in Canada, so business should be increasing consistently. However, it says here in September of 2022, company announced divestiture of its Canadian retail operation, selling its 28 retail stores across the country to other cannabis companies. Okay, so, you make this company, it gets legalized, you start doing business, but I don't know, you're not bringing in good profits. Now you have to sell 28 retail stores, and now you're betting more on U.S. cannabis, investing your assets into, another U.S.-based growth company. Right? Think about that. Just think about that for a second. Right? It's technically a competitor, even if Canopy is restricted to Canada only. Right? I understand, they might want to invest and take advantage of, any sales here made in the United States. I can understand that, but also at the same time, why? Right? You're still a relatively young, newer company. Why not make it your business to be successful where you started, in Canada? Right? So the stock's been going down year over year. Now you liquidate 28 stores, and now, to hedge your bets, you're also investing into another company that has U.S. business, so that you can see if that they start generating more money here in the United States as opposed to you doing there in Canada. Obviously it's their money; they can invest it wherever the heck they want to. But also at the end of the day, I would have wanted to see that reinvested into the company. And the fact that, even if you come down here, the fact that the net income is negative, and, now you're making a sizable investment, like I said, towards United States cannabis, it kind of just throws me for a loop, right? Because basically what you're telling me is this company is kind of pointless to invest into, right? If they're struggling, they're going to have to start laying off employees. They had to sell their 28 retail stores. So again, they're hedging their bets with a U.S. cannabis company. Why wouldn't we just invest into the U.S. cannabis company? Right? So basically they're telling me, the United States, there is a higher chance that they can bring in decent revenue. Here in Canada, we're struggling. So why the heck would I buy CGC, right? They're not even buying CGC. They didn't make the investment and do, a stock buyback program because their stock is undervalued. The stock, look at this, year to date down almost 70%, right? That's what I'm saying. People just start up these companies, and I feel like they just kind of wing it. Do any of these companies even have business models? If you or I went into a bank, looking for a business loan, we'd have to dot every I and cross every T to make sure every single sentence was properly structured, and we showed exactly, how we would bring the money in, and what our profits would be, what our operating expenses are, where we would keep our assets, what investments we would make, right? You got to disclose a lot of this information depending on what kind of financial situation you're getting yourself into. And here you have a company that's like I said, selling marijuana, you should be making money hand over fist. And I'm looking at a stock, and a business value that's just deteriorating month over month, and now you're closing 28. I mean, I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But we come down here, we look at the numbers. Look, year over year, not too bad. Going from 2018, 78 million, 2021, over $500 million. These numbers are phenomenal, right? But how do you bring in over $500 million selling marijuana and lose almost $2 billion? How the heck do you do that? I'm sure a few of you out there might know somebody who, might sell marijuana. I mean, most of these people make money. That's why they do it. If you had to spend $1 to sell marijuana and you were losing $3 for every dollar you spent, chances are you wouldn't continue that venture for too long. You would eventually look at a balance sheet like this and say, wow, holy crap, this is a terrible business model. I'm better off selling garbage bags to people, right? And then here in 2022, you can see a pullback here with the revenue. However, income did increase. But I don't know where they got these numbers from, because if you switch over here quarterly, you can see, just in March of 2020 alone, they lost over 500 million. So I don't understand. Look at these numbers here, losing 2 billion in the quarter. So I don't know where the heck they got these numbers from. But as of right now, what, 400 million? Even if you say 500 million. Right, for the year. I mean, that's still less than it was the year before, and the company is still net income negative. So as of right now, just looking at this, I wouldn't buy this company at all. Even if you guys sent me money through a Patreon, I would not buy any shares of the CGC right now. Let's say the company's bringing in $500 million, they're bleeding like crazy. We have a market cap of $2 billion, right? So they're trading, we'll say, roughly 4 times yearly revenue. And the company is just absolutely bleeding. And they're down 70% year to date. And at this level, they're trading 4 times total revenue, right? So the company was basically overvalued and overinflated since, well, I don't want to say since its inception, but, at least going back the last several years, 2018, 2019. I mean, look at this. Right now the stock can't hold $3 a share, yet 4 or 5 years ago it was $50 a share. I mean, think about that. You're talking 15 times this value, $30 billion market cap, and the company's bringing in a couple of $100 million. So, that's why you'll have these big spikes up on these, BS news announcements, or, it'll get legalized in a new province or something like that. But if the company is not actually conducting business immediately after these announcements, they don't deserve these pumps. And, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing these huge pump ups. And the business, the revenue, the profits are just not following. So without even looking at other companies, I'm probably going to dive into a few other names, maybe right after this, actually. I'll look at 1 or 2 other marijuana names for you guys. But, I mean, right now, like I said, the numbers look absolutely terrible. They sold 28 retail stores, just a few months ago. And they're taking their assets and, investing on the U.S. cannabis market to try to hedge their bets. So as of right now, without even looking at any other companies, I would say, A, we can probably find a better Canadian, marijuana growth company. B, we could just invest into a U.S. cannabis company, right? Without even looking at the company, I would invest into this TerraSend before I would invest into CGC, right? But that's just my 2 cents. We did a little rebound of the company here. Obviously, it looks terrible. Excuse me. We come over here. I don't really even need to look at these numbers. I really don't. We're looking at earnings here. You can just see consistent decreases here, quarter over quarter, down to 85 million. They were over 100, almost 120 million, just slowly deteriorating quarter over quarter, right? I mean, that really shouldn't be happening. When we look at the revenue year over year, again, big jumps here into 2020, kind of maintained for 2021, but the losses are just outweighing the revenue income. And you can't have a situation like that. You just can't. And we're looking at also the balance sheet here. I wanted to show you guys, look, the assets, and it shows their liabilities, right? Liabilities are, basically debt. That's what liabilities are, debt. And, here, a little over $5 billion in assets with $1.7 billion in liabilities, right? And look at that. Assets slightly go down, so did liabilities. Assets down $500 million, liabilities down roughly $60 million. And look at the assets, just almost got cut in half here. We're looking at $2.7 billion now. Liabilities just took a small drop. I'd say maybe 10-15%. But look now, the debt to assets has now jumped up to over 50% when it was maintaining. Look at that, like that 33-35% mark. Now it's at 52%. As of the last quarter, again, look at this. Liabilities slightly come down, 150-200 million, but the assets also dropped roughly 300 million. So the debt to assets, again, maintaining over that 50% mark. Just overall, not to beat a dead horse here, but I'm sure you guys can appreciate what I'm coming at you with here. This is not a wise investment, in my opinion. You're going to need a massive positive catalyst or a brand name activist to step in and acquire a chunk of the company. It is a nice floating asset to have Constellation Brands holding 35% ownership of this company, but also at the same time it's a piece of shit company, so who the hell cares, right? Look at these profitability ratios. Everything is negative, and it's just growing increasingly negative quarter over quarter, year over year. The EBITDA, again, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, minus 81%, right? There were times where it was slightly better, but also astronomically worse. It's just a seesaw bouncing around. This is something, again, I would have to give them some time. And even after having a huge sell-off, what did we say? 70% down year to date, I still think it's overvalued. The stock maybe $1 a share. I don't know. We're going to have to keep an eye on it. But switch over here to stock charts. We got a relatively low RSI, right? So you could see some popping. However, the stock has been dropping as of the last couple of, what is that? Basically since December, last couple of weeks. We got a MACD heading down. Probably going to come down and touch that bottom Bollinger Band. And also, if you switch over here weekly, look at this. Obviously, not only is this just a downtrend, but as you can see, only for, about a month and a half, 2 months, did it even break above this resistance of the mid-Bollinger Band, right? It came down, tried to fight for the support, and sold off towards the moving averages, towards the bottom of the Bollinger Band, continues to sell off. Look at that. Pops up to the mid-Bollinger Band and then rejects. Climbs to the mid-Bollinger Band and then rejects. Mid-band rejects, right? So it finally broke out around this November mark, right? Because apparently everyone thinks, if we vote here in the States in November for random politicians or random bills here in the States to legalize in 1, 2, 3 other states. For some reason, that would affect a Canadian marijuana company, right? So maybe they got a little of attention here, going into November and going through December here. But again, as you can see, instant pullback and is now sub mid-Bollinger Band. So this company really, any way you look at it, I personally don't like it. You could say there was a potential double bottom. You had your little W recovery here, but again, there might be a technical pattern here that might line up to make you a couple of bucks. But if we're talking about an investment, I think we can move on to better and greener pastures, if you will. So I'm going to end it there. Once again, this is Stocks by the Numbers. I want to thank you guys for stopping by. Just like everyone on YouTube says, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Helps out the algorithm. Helps me get more eyes on the channel. If you like the videos I'm putting out, push the subscribe button. Helps me out. Means a lot to me. But, moving forward, like I always say, I understand that markets are rocky. They're volatile. They're uncertain. So I wish everyone success. I hope everyone makes a couple of dollars. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a good day.